All right, we've cut across to more breaking news coming in. India has issued a fresh statement on the Syrian crisis. The MEA has said, and I quote, "We are monitoring the situation in Syria very, very closely. This is in light of the ongoing developments. We underline the need for all parties to work towards preserving the unity, sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Syria. We advocate a peaceful and inclusive Syrian-led political process respecting the interests and aspirations of all sections of the Syrian society. Our embassy in Damascus is in contact with the Indian community for their safety and security." So while India makes its position clear on the ongoing crisis in Syria with regards to the fall of the Assad regime, let me cut across to our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor on this very statement by the MEA, where Abhishek, the MEA not just puts out a message of peace but also says that they're looking out for all Indians in Syria such that they are safe and secure.
Yes, they are. In fact, I took an update apart from this statement, Suesha, and what we are told is that there are about 100 odd Indian citizens working in various towns, mainly in Damascus, but about 5 or 10 in Aleppo. Otherwise, everyone is accounted for, taken care of. They are safe and secure. They have been advised to remain where they are because there was an advisory. Indian advisory that people should not be traveling. So except for those who were working there, everyone has been evacuated. Even the mission is working at the kind of strength which is required to keep open and to keep the operations open. But every Indian citizen accounted for, they are well taken care of in the emerging security situation. We are closely watching, of course. If need be, they can be evacuated. But as of now, does not seem to be the case because while the Assad regime has collapsed, there is no particular civil war panning out. It's just that those people who have taken over power are those who have done so without the Assad forces really countering them. So in a way, there is no street war panning out except for, of course, a law and order situation, looting, etc. So Indians taken care of. The MEA essentially reiterating that the mission operations in Damascus are on, and whosoever wants to get in touch with them can. And visa, consular, security, other services would be provided and coordinated, and that no one should be panicking insofar as their family members back home are concerned.
Absolutely, Abhishek. Many thanks for getting us all the details on that statement. So that is where India stands as far as the Syrian crisis is concerned after the fall of the Assad regime, where India puts out a clear message of peace. India also stating that they are watching the situation very closely. They're saying that all the parties need to work towards preserving the unity, sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Syria, clearly stating that they are in touch with the Indian embassy in Damascus to ensure the safety and security of the Indian diaspora in Syria. Meanwhile, the fall of the Assad regime that brutalized, tortured and killed thousands of innocent Syrians over the past half a century is a historic opportunity for the people of the country. Outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden said on Sunday, in fact, he spoke at the White House hours after rebel groups took over the country following more than a dozen years of violent civil war and decades of leadership by Bashar Assad and his family. After 13 years of civil war in Syria and more than half a century of brutal authoritarian rule by Bashar Assad and his father before him, rebel forces that forced Assad to resign his office and flee the country. Well, we're not really sure at this point, but reports suggest that he is probably in Moscow. At long last, the Assad regime that has fallen is the statement that came in from Joe Biden. Let's listen in.
The United States will work with our partners and the stakeholders in Syria to help them seize an opportunity to manage the risks. For For years, the main backers of Assad have been Iran, Hezbollah, and Russia. But over the last week, their support collapsed, all three of them, because all three of them are far weaker today than they were when I took office. Over the past 4 years, my administration pursued a clear and principled policy towards Syria. First, we made clear from the start sanctions on Assad would remain in place unless he engaged seriously in a political process to end the civil war, as outlined by the UN Security Council resolution passed in 2015. But Assad refused, so we carried out a comprehensive sanction program against him and all those responsible for atrocities against the Syrian people. Second, we maintained our military presence in Syria, our counter-ISIS, to counter the support of local partners as well on the ground, their partners, never ceding an inch of territory, taking out leaders of ISIS, ensuring that ISIS can never establish a safe haven there again. Third, we've supported Israel's freedom of action against Iranian networks in Syria and against actors aligned with Iran who transported lethal aid to Lebanon. And when necessary, ordered the use of military force against Iranian networks to protect U.S. forces. Our approach has shifted the balance of power in the Middle East through this combination of support for our partners, sanctions, diplomacy, and targeted military force when necessary.